Look, there's movement level energy in Georgia right now. And if you had told anybody in Georgia 10 years ago this is where we'd be today, they wouldn't have believed you. The most competitive state in the country, 2 Senate runoffs for control of the Senate. I'm urging everybody in Georgia to get out and vote early. We have the momentum and the energy. We're going to win these 2 races, and it's going to take record-shattering turnout. So my message is, if you're in Georgia, vote today.
Democratic Senate candidate Jon Ossoff today became one of the 1.6 million people who have already voted early in Georgia's 2 Senate runoff elections. The races will determine control of the Senate and ultimately how much of a Joe Biden's agenda actually becomes reality. Both parties have been racing to register new voters. According to Target Smart Voter data analyzed by NBC News, 67,000 voters with no general election vote history, that means they didn't vote necessarily last time, have been added to the list of potential voters since November 4th. The numbers point to a small advantage for the Democrats, who make up 44% of the newly registered voters. Republicans make up 41% of those voters, while 15% are not affiliated with any party. As the NBC piece points out, quote, young voters, a strong Democratic voting bloc, are likely to play a key role in the runoffs. 39% of these newly registered voters are below the age of 30. However, those newly registered voters would have to actually turn out to have an impact on the race. Senate races have drawn nationwide attention, with celebrities donating their platforms and time to supporting the candidates. Earlier this month, Star Trek cast members joined Stacey Abrams for a fundraiser for Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff, aptly named Star Trek: The Next Election. Joining me now is actor and activist, the great George Takei. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, George. How are you?
Just great. Happy holidays to you. And I greet you with the what we on Star Trek call the Vulcan greeting: live long and prosper. But I also find it useful during a quarantine. Stand back, stand back, stand back.
I have lived my whole life to be able to do this on camera with a member of the original crew. Thank you.
Your ears are too round.
Trust me, I tried. I tried as a kid. So, George, I got to ask this. This is right in line with your sort of lifelong activism in politics. A lot of actors, a lot of entertainers, they follow the prime directive, right? No interference. But you've always been involved. Why did you decide to sort of, put your hand, take out your fencing foil, and get involved in the Georgia election? What specifically drew you to this contest and this runoff?
Well, staying in the Star Trek context, a key value of Star Trek was an acronym, IDIC, I-D-I-C, which stands for Infinite Diversity in Infinite Combinations. And this is what's at stake here in Georgia right now. Because, yes, the seat is to represent the people of Georgia, but all across America, Americans are pulling for Jon Ossoff and Reverend Warnock to be elected, because they not only will be representing the people of Georgia, which the current sitting senators do not. They're all working for themselves and their own personal enrichment. But what they will do will be to support our new president, Joe Biden, coming in, because they are going to play a critical part in the Senate, as we all know. And without those 2 senators, it's going to affect the well-being of all Americans in terms of, with this historic joblessness, creation of jobs, to deal with this much hope for a vaccine, to
right.
efficiently and competently get that distributed. So there are so many things that are hanging on these 2 senators, Ossoff or candidates, Ossoff and Warnock, to benefit all Americans. So this is a critically important race. Infinite diversity in infinite combinations.
Infinite combinations. Well, George, speaking of infinite diversity and infinite combinations, you wrote a letter encouraging, sort of urging the Biden administration to increase diversity, in particular, increase the number of AAPI members of the community. What was your motivation in writing this? Do you think that Joe Biden is going to fulfill the promise? Is he going to have 7% Asian Americans in this administration? Do you think that he's a man that you can trust to make this administration as diverse as your original crew was and as groundbreaking?
He has already demonstrated that with the people that he's announced as his selections. But even getting those people approved by the Senate hinges on the two senators to be from Georgia. Yes, in this race particularly, Asian Americans are the most rapidly growing demographic group in Georgia, particularly around Atlanta. So we are urging Asian Americans to be actively engaged because it affects all of us. This infinite diversity idea is that we've got to work together within our diversity to benefit the well-being of all of us. So yes, Asian Americans will be in there participating. This is a participatory democracy, and we are actively participating.
George, before we go to break, I have to ask you, which is better at protecting America, protecting the universe, the Federation or Donald Trump's Space Force?
That is a comedy. When I was a kid, we had a kiddie sci-fi program on called Space Patrol, and we had aliens named Tonga and Captain Corey, Buzz Corey, and his a gang of space cadets, and that's what Trump's Space Force is going to be. It's a joke.
In other words, we're trusting the Federation. George, thank you so very much. Thank you so much, George Takei. Much more of the ReidOut next. Stay with us. Live long and prosper.